In football, attacking play should be considered as an entity beginning with gaining or regaining possession of the ball and ending it with a shot at the opponent's goal. Under no circumstances this attacking play should be exhausted in passing sequence. The target in football is opponent's goal. All the players should be striving hard relentlessly in order to achieve this target time and again and as frequently as possible. And the ball is the object which is required to be utilized in an effective manner. So there should be a cohesion between the players and all the players should be ready to contribute his share for the greater interest of the team. The attacking tactics in football is quite vast, but within this limited time, I will try to cover almost the important aspects or elements related to the attacking principles. So today in this topic I shall cover the principles of attacking play, importance of tactics, controlling over the match and certain guidelines for the success of the team. Now when we talk of the attacking tactics, it is the ability of the players which are being rationally used to overcome the challenges against organized opponent during the competition or a match. The tactics help us to perform better, minimizing the weak points. It helps to improve the understanding between the players, develop cooperation and group cohesion. At the same time, it reduces the pressure on the defense. As you all agree, the expert says the attack is the best defense. So if the attack is continued in an effective manner, then there will be less pressure on the defense. So attacking tactics helps to maintain the thrill of the game. Thrill is scoring as many goals as possible and at the same time restricting opponents from scoring. If there is no thrill in the game, then the spectators will not come, players will not enjoy the game and nobody will like to see any football match. Winning is important, but developing players and the team is more important. And for this, the team should have a control over the game which helps to use the variety of tactics and help to dictate the play. When you classify the tactics, the attacking tactics, it can be classified as individual and collective. Again, it can be subdivided, that is the collective tactics can be subdivided into group and team tactics. Under individual, we shall cover the dribbling, feinting, shooting at goal. Dribbling means controlling and moving the ball with soft stroke of foot combined with body swap, acceleration, change of direction and the rhythm. There is a difference between running with the ball and dribbling. In running with ball, of course, the ball remains under control and we are moving forward. But in dribbling, there is no guarantee that we will be running only in forward. Frequently, we are forced by the situation to change our direction, change the rhythm depending upon the situation so that one can overcome the challenging situation. Now, dribbling is used desperately with required speed to turn a well-organized defense into total confusion and chaos to make way to goal. The dribbling is necessary when the pass is not on to outnumber or eliminate the opponent, make the game unpredictable because the outcome is not known to the opponent. And while dribbling, it is an art on the part of the player, and he must utilize it as and when it is required. Not all the time it is to be used, since a player is well versed and efficient enough in dribbling or very skillful in implementing the dribbling. It should always be done in the interest of the team, and it should be used rationally. The player concerned must not give an impression so as to what he is going to do it. So he must do it, that too with required speed and sharpness. It helps to create a favorable situation. Normally when the players are in trouble or is in problem, this should be used as a weapon to overcome that challenge or the situation. Dribbling alone may not be as effective as it should be. Along with dribbling, one more thing, that is the feinting, may be used or combined. Feinting means it is defined as an action defined to deceive, distract the opponent's attention from the real one. Now it can be executed by feet, by arms, by legs, even with the guys. Now dribbling can become more effective when it is combined with body swap and feinting. Feinting with ball is difficult when it is combined with body swap. The success in feinting with ball depends on the player's own initiative and the poor reaction of the defender. As I said earlier, it should be done in the nick of time with required speed and sharpness, so that the opponents are not in a position to react with the action of the player with the ball. The coordination of movement facilitates hiding the real intention. If the defender is close, the feints performed with legs should be carried out with optimum speed. Shooting is an attempt to send the ball directly into opponent's goal, and it is expected that every attacking move must be rounded off with a shot at the goal. If you are not in a position to score, for example, the goalkeeper has saved it, that will pose a threat to the opposing team, and it must be done as frequently as possible. Shooting opportunity is difficult to create, but to score a goal, every team must attempt it to take a shot at the goal, because it helps to increase the scoring opportunity. So as a consequence, what happens, every team must be consciously creating such situation whereby the opportunity comes to score, and as soon as the opportunity comes in, players must not hesitate in taking a shot at the goal, that too correctly. But before that, the player concerned must keep certain points in mind, such as, are you in a position to execute that kick or execute that shot? Once you have taken a decision, yes, I am in a position to take a shot, then you have to decide the type of shot you are going to take. Which type of kick, whether you are making a low drive, you are making a very deflected one using your outside of the foot, or it should be a swerving one, that is to be decided by the player. Will it be effective? That is also to be considered. We must advise the players to take a shot at the goal at the very first available opportunity. When I think about the collective attack comprises of group and the team. In group, we will cover positioning, passing and receiving. Actually, initially means quite back, the division of responsibility was completely unknown, and the players were not familiar with collective attack, such as the positioning. Now in positioning, a player is to think now when, where and how one should offer positions. Now talking about when, the timing is most important. And now here you can see in the picture, the initiate the moment the player is preparing to pass. This player is ready to receive that pass, but he must initiate first, keeping in mind the timing when the player is in a position to make the pass. If he runs earlier, he will be pulled for offside. If he runs momentarily late or initiates late, either the player concerned may not be considering to make a pass, or even if he makes a pass, by the time the player could reach the ball, the opponent will be intercepting the pass. So the timing is important while offering the positioning, and he must show, is the player with ball, yes, I am ready to utilize that pass. Whenever a player is taking position, it must have some impact on the opposing players. He must distract the attention of the opponents. Otherwise, there is no sense of taking position. Now, it may so happen sometimes you have offered a position, but the player concerned is not passing. It happens because more than one player might be offering position to receive a pass. But the player concerned, the player with the ball, will have the authority to decide out of these opportunities to whom he will be passing. But that does not mean you will keep standing or you will not offer positioning. In fact, it is the responsibility of the players without the ball to frequently offer new positions if the previous positions are not been considered by the player with the ball. So frequently they must change and interchange their positions so that the option of the player with ball remains open to make a pass or dribble or to take a shot. And under any circumstances, the player concerned must not run to an offside position. One must vary the pace and direction as situation demands. Create varied opportunities and move in varied direction, keeping opponents gazing. That means the opponent should be kept on gazing. They should keep on analyzing or they thinking that what will be the next. It is also advisable for the attackers to run in the blind side of the defenders, so that they need to change their focus of attention from front to the back, from right to the left. That means they will not be able to give their order of priorities in proper fashion. So the players should position themselves in such a way that the defenders or the opponents are forced to give a wrong order of their priorities. The passing is one of the most important element in attacking movement, or for the success of any attacking movement, passing is considered as one of the most important weapon. Introduction of passing became the basis of attacking tactics or teamwork. Although earlier or in our ancient ages, the players were not passing the ball, they were not aware of whosoever is getting the possession of the ball, they used to keep on dribbling until someone was snatching the ball from him. But that days are gone. Now people have understood the importance of passing, how it helps the team to be effective as far as the attack is concerned. There are two key issues in passing. One, how to use time to find space, and the second one, the way the ball has moved between spaces. Of course, the choice of correct pass and the timing determines the success of a team. Now, passing may be short, it may be long. Short passes, of course, are the best way to draw players, means bringing the players or involving the opponents into the attack, so that a gap is created in and around the opposing player. Quickly, the short pass help to quickly exploit the space or slowly to attract opponents and create space elsewhere, as we have already discussed it. Whereas the long pass helps to exploit the spaces by quick changing of the phase of attack from one flank to the other, helps the attacker to make the attacking movements more effective. There are some other types of passes are also used as far as the attacking movements are concerned, because all the time it is not possible for any team to move only in forward. Although it is told that football is a forward looking, forward thinking and forward moving game, but it is not always possible. So in some cases, depending upon the situation, the team needs to build up the attack by making maybe square passes, by making maybe back passes, sometimes maybe throw passes. So all these passes should be used according to the situation, so that it helps the attacking team at least to retain possession of the ball. If not, we are in a position to take a shot at the opponent's goal for scoring. Now, as far as the controlling is concerned or receiving is concerned, the first touch is very, very important. The first touch should be such that it prepares the player for his subsequent movements. It must favor. So keeping that in mind, the players must use their part of the body while bringing the ball under control. It may so happen they have to kill the ball. Sometimes they might be giving a new direction in which they are likely to move with the ball. Always, of course, it is advisable to control the ball with the foot which is away from the opponent, and at the same time shield the ball by putting the body in between the ball and your immediate opponent. The team attack, it is depth in attack, width in attack, mobility, penetration and creative ability. What is depth? Depth means extending support from various angles and distances, and the depth is determined by the distance from the player with the ball in relation to opponent's goal. So the reference point is the opponent's goal and the ball. Keeping that in mind, the players should offer their positions either from front, from the sides, from the back, from different angles. Somebody should be close, some others should be away. Now in depth, the supporting players should offer positions keeping in mind the quality of the player, that is preferably in line with his aspiration. Other players, that means the players without the ball, must also keep in mind his expectation, his aspiration, and accordingly they must offer position. Otherwise the player with the ball is not going to make the pass, because unless he is convinced, yes, if I pass the ball to that player, he is or the ball is safe. Then the quality of the opponent who are offering resistance or challenging the player. Keeping that in mind also, one should offer positions and the area of the field in which part the player is. Now the positioning should neither be too close to the player with the ball, nor it is far away, because if the players are too close, there will be too congestion. If it is too far, there will be lack of communication and understanding. So the players should position, some players, as I said earlier, should be close by, and some others should be away and from different directions, so that the option of the player with the ball remains open. Either he may make a pass or he may choose his other options to move with the ball or take a shot at the goal. The movements of the players without the ball actually determines the nature of attack, or they are actually responsible to give shape of the attack. As I said, the movements of the players without the ball are more important as compared to the player with the ball. They are dictating the pace and shape of attack. Now, the players, as I said earlier, should neither run towards the ball, that means where the player with the ball is, nor towards opponent goal. Now, if all the players are running close to the player with the ball, what will happen? His options will be limited and one defender will be enough to mark all those. On the contrary, if the players are running towards opponent goal, what will happen? The opponent's goal mouth will be overcrowded, the scoring chances will be further minimized, the attackers may be trapped for offside, an attacker may fail to send the ball in vital area from which most of the goals are being scored. Now, some advices are there for the players who are offering the positioning as far as the depth is concerned. The players should move in such a way that they can draw attention of the defenders, withdraw the defenders from their basic positions, and force the defenders to give wrong order of priorities, and support the player with the ball from different angle. Now, the quality of the player with ball always influenced by the position of the attacker, because if he is capable enough to make different type of passes, then it's okay. Otherwise, keeping his quality, the other players should take positions. Now, once you are offering position, we must also consider the area of the field where we are offering the position, whether it is too close to the opponent's goal, or in the flanks, or in your own half of the field. Depending upon this area of the field, the positioning becomes different. The more closer to the opponent's goal, it is obvious more shallower the depth will be, and of course the distance from the goal. Now, all these things should be considered while positioning. Now, certain advantages are of course there in maintaining the depth in attack. What are those? The variety of passing opportunities remain open. It helps to pass the ball easily. It helps to beat the defender by making 2 versus 1 situation and choose his second option. If the player is pressurized by the opponents, someone can come to offer help or take the ball away from here, so that the players get relieved and we are not losing possession of the ball. And in case it may so happen the player concerned with the ball has lost the possession of the ball, in that case there is no immediate threat for our own team, because somebody is there to challenge that player with the ball. It is not always possible for us to penetrate or continue the attacking movement through the middle, because the vital area are given due emphasis and they are being marked very tightly. As a consequence, if we go or try from the middle, then what will happen? The attacking movement will not be effective. So we must try to send the ball or organize the attacking movements through the flanks. Otherwise, breakthrough will be difficult. The more the defenders are stressed towards the flank, what will happen? It will favor to create gaps, one, and second, more room will be available to operate. The possession of the ball can be retained when there is no possibilities of moving toward the opponent goal, and it is neither tactically advantageous to move forward or towards the goal. It is better or advisable for the players to send the ball through the wings, so that we are not losing possession of the ball. Sometimes it also helps to slow down the pace of the game when the penetration is not possible. The defense become thinner and vulnerable when the attacks are being initiated from the flanks, and the process of elimination becomes easier. As discussed earlier, football is a forward thinking, forward passing and forward moving game, but always it may not be possible, because the opponents are there, they will be marking their areas tightly and they will not allow freedom for movement. But on the contrary, the aim of every attacking move should be directed to opponent's goal as frequently as possible, because in order to score goal we must penetrate the opposing defense. If we fail to do that, that means we will not be successful and we will not be able to win that match. Penetration is not an easy job, but is very important for winning. The difficulty of penetrating the opposing defense becomes very, very difficult when both the teams are evenly matched. That means they are equal in quality and they are offering proper challenge. And more closer the attackers are reaching to the vital area, it becomes even more difficult to penetrate because the space is very, very limited. A number of players are also more in that area, particularly the defenders are there to defend their goal, attackers are there to finish it off with a scoring. So it becomes very, very difficult. But to score a goal or to win the match, it is obligatory for all the teams to penetrate. Now the penetration we can make either by passing or by dribbling. Of course, passing is a better option for penetration and to gain territorial advantage. And when the pass is not on, we can opt our second option, that is dribbling. And for this, we need to have good support from the players without the ball. Penetration can also be done by means of wall pass, but initiative by teammates and good understanding will help in penetrating the opposing defense successfully. The other important element is the process of elimination. That means once we have eliminated a player or beating a player, he must not be given chance or the scope to come in front of the ball again to offer his challenge. So the elimination means keeping opponent out of picture. It is very difficult but most important. This process of elimination can be done by passing, by dribbling or by shooting. But in all cases there should be an element of surprise. Without the surprise, this elimination will not be effective. Elimination, as I said, is possible when the players are physically fit and technically sound. The process of elimination will be effective if the following conditions are fulfilled. The players must understand how the attack is building up. That means they should have anticipation about the progress or the development of the attacking movement, how it is progressing, how it is developing. The position of the opponents, and the players concerned must be able to anticipate a series of movements in advance, and for this a good understanding between the players are a must. For having creative ability, it of course depends on the individual brilliance, but at the same time the other players also must cooperate. Other players also must understand how the movements are going on, and every tactical move should have some surprise. They must not be able to anticipate what is next. They should always be keep on guessing. Now drive in creating new and favorable situations, always. An unlimited variation of movements to beat highly organized opposing defense is a must, and this can be done only if the players are having creative abilities. For creating certain things which are not in existence, the players must be able to think in a positive direction. Players should also possess innovativeness, create something out of nothing, and constantly offering support by the players without the possession of the ball to each other unconditionally. If there is a condition, if something happens, then only I will do this. No. They should offer their positions unconditionally, then only creating certain things out of nothing will be possible. Now, an Hungarian expert rightly said that it is not an exaggeration to say modern attacking play is based on constant, planned and quick place changing, or in other words, varied movements of attack. An attacker who is quick of the mark or having high degree of adjustable mobility and maneuverability has the decisive advantage. Mobility means the players are not restricting to a particular zone or particular position. They should be ready to move or change and interchange their positions frequently, keeping in mind the actual situation. The concept of present day football is very, very difficult. No one should expect or get a freedom of movement on the field, particularly when they are reaching to the opponent's vital area from where most of the goals have been scored, because that will be marked very tightly. Along with this, the players who are operating in the vicinity of this vital area will also be marked. But in order to score goals or dominate over the opponents, the players must be free. That means the players must know how to get rid of his immediate opponent. Now there is a conflict, as I said, between time and space. If one can get the ball under control earlier, he will get more time as well as more space. But if he delays in bringing the ball under control or moving to a particular position, that means there will be less time available and also the less space. So the conflict goes on. In order to dominate over opponents and to score goals, players must create certain space and exploit it in an effective manner. And for this, every player should be ready to contribute his share for the greater interest of the team. It is possible if the players are technically sound and physically fit. Apply dummy and decoy runs. Now dummy and decoy runs means the players are moving, players without the ball are moving from danger zone to the less dangerous zone or from middle to towards the flank in order to withdraw the defenders from their basic positions, although they don't have immediate hope for getting the ball. But if the players, that is the opponents, are not following them, what will happen? The player concerned who are executing the dummy runs, they will be free, because in the vital area they are marked by the opponent, but when they are moving away, they are likely to be free. If the opponents opt to move along with him, that means a space will be created in front of the goal. So as and when it is possible, the player should use the dummy and decoy runs, and they make their movements unpredictable. It must not be predictable, it must not be informative to the opponents. The players must be able to succeed in most of the duels, that is 1 versus 1 situation. So these guidelines may be followed in order to achieve success or to be effective as far as the attacking movements are concerned. All the players should try to understand and then implement those points. It is not be wise to say that the players must follow this or players must do this. As such, these attacking principles or all tactical principles are merely guidelines which help the team to achieve success. As far as the attacking movements are concerned, attacking play is concerned, all the players must make a change in their behavior, in their approach, in order to achieve success. Thank you very much.